Hello student. So let's start the bones of the upper limb. So as you know, in the human body there is consist of the total number of 206 bone, and out of this in each upper limb it consists of the 32 bones. Out of this, the name of the bones, that is, first it is the scapula, second one that is the clavicle, third that is the humerus, then the radius ulna, and the carpal bones. The carpal bones which is present into that the hand, these are total 8 bone. The metacarpal bones, these are the 5, and the phalanges, these are the 14. So in this way each upper limb that consists of total 32 bones. So out of this, firstly we should have to start, that is the first bone of the upper limb, that is the clavicle. So clavicle, it is also called collarbone or the beauty bone, and the shape of this bone, it is the S shape, and it is present horizontally in the body. Medially it is articulates with the sternum and the first rib, and laterally it is articulates with the acromion process of the scapula. Then it is subcutaneous throughoutly, and hence it can be easily palpated throughout its entire extent. So let's see, that is the details of the clavicle. So this is the clavicle, that is the superior view, and this is the inferior view of the clavicle, right side clavicle. So this one. So let's see first, that is the peculiarities of the clavicle. So clavicle, it is the only long bone that lies horizontally, as it is the long bone, and most of the long bone they should be present vertically in our body, but this is the only one bone which is present horizontally, as it is the long bone. Then it is subcutaneous throughoutly. Third point, peculiarity, that is it is the first bone to start the ossifying. Then next peculiarity, that is it is the only one long bone which ossifies in the membrane. Next, it is the only long bone which has two primary ossification centers, or the center of ossification. Then next to it, it is generally said to have no medullary cavity, as any long bone that consists of the medullary cavity. But it is not always true. Sometimes there may be present medullary cavity, and it is occasionally pierced by the middle superior clavicular nerve, this one. Then it receives the weight of upper limb via lateral one-third through the coracoclavicular ligament, and transmits weight to the upper limb to axial skeleton via the medial 2/3 of the clavicle. So that is the peculiarities related with the clavicle. Now let's see, that is the features of the clavicle. The external features of the clavicle that includes, that is the two ends. This is the medial end and this is the lateral end, and this middle cylindrical part, it is called the shaft. So let's see, that is first the shaft of the clavicle. So the shaft of the clavicle, it is divided into two parts, that is the lateral 1/3 part from this to this region, and the medial 2/3 part. The medial 2/3 part of the shaft, it is convex forwards, and lateral 1/3 part, it is concave forward. So this one here you can see. Then lateral 1/3 part, this one. So lateral 1/3 of the shaft, it is flattened from above downwards, and it has two borders, that is this is the anterior border and this is the posterior border. So anterior border, it is concave forwards, and the posterior border, it is convex backwards. So here you can see. And this part of the bone has two surfaces, that is this is the superior surface, and below to it, that is the inferior surface. The superior surface, it shows or the superior surface, it is subcutaneous, means that is only covered by the skin, and inferior surface, it presents the elevation, it is called the conoid tubercle. So here you can see, this is the inferior surface, and it shows, that is the conoid tubercle, and lateral to it there is presence, that is the ridge. So it is called the trapezoid ridge. So this one. Then medial 2/3. So this one. So the medial 2/3 of the shaft, it is rounded and it have the four surfaces. That is, this one, it is the anterior surface, then the posterior surface, then the superior surface, and below to it, that is the inferior surface. So let's see, that is the anterior surface. So this one. So the anterior surface, it is convex forward. So here you can see. The posterior surface, it is smooth and that is the concave. Then the superior surface, so this upper surface. So superior surface, it is rough in its medial side. So here you can see, that is the irregular and the rough. And the inferior surface, it is rough and shows the oval impression at its medial end. So here, this is the inferior surface. Then the lateral half of this surface, means that is the inferior surface, it is longitudinal subclavian groove. So here it shows, that is the longitudinal subclavian groove. The nutrient foramen that lies lateral to that the groove. So here, that is the nutrient foramen is present. Then let's see, that is the medial end and the lateral end. So that is the two ends. So first, that is the lateral end. So lateral end, it is also called the acromial end, which is very much flattened from above downwards, and it bears, that is the facet, and this facet articulates with the acromion process of the scapula to form the acromioclavicular joint. Then the medial end, so this one. So the medial end, it is also called the sternal end, and it is quadrangular in shape, and this articulate with the clavicular notch of the manubrium sterni to form the sternoclavicular joint. And the articular surface, means this surface, extends to inferior aspect for the articulation with the first costal cartilage. Here in this diagram you can see, that is the medial end, it is joins with, that is the sternum to form the sternoclavicular joint. So here you can see. Then that is the lateral end, it is joins with, that is the acromion process of the scapula. So here you can see, that is the scapula and this is the acromion process, and this lateral end joins with the acromion process to form the acromioclavicular joint here. That is the attachment of the clavicle. So at the lateral end here, the margin is margin of the articular surface for the acromioclavicular joint. So here, this one, which gives the attachment of the joint capsule. Then that is the medial end. So the margin of the articular surface of the medial end for the sternum, it gives, that is the fibrous capsule of the sternoclavicular joint. So here, this one. Then second, that is the articular disc, it present postero-superiorly. So this one. Then the interclavicular ligament, it present superiorly. So this one, interclavicular ligament. Then the lateral 1/3 of the shaft. So this one. So it gives, that is the attachment of the muscle. So for this we should have to see the another diagram. So here in this diagram you can see, that is the lateral 1/3 of the clavicle. So the anterior border, it gives the origin of the deltoid muscle. So this one. The posterior border, it provide the insertion to that the trapezius. So that is the red color, it shows the origin, and the blue color, it shows that is the insertion. Then the conoid tubercle, so this one. So the conoid tubercle and the trapezoid ridge, so this one. So it gives attachment to that the coracoclavicular ligament. So this one, here you can see. Then the medial 2/3 of the shaft. Then most of the anterior surface, it gives the origin of the pectoralis major muscle. So here you can see, that is the pectoralis major. Then half of the rough superior surface, it gives the origin of the clavicular head of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So this one. Then the oval impression on the inferior surface. So this one. The oval impression on the inferior surface at the medial end gives the attachment of the costoclavicular ligament. So here you can see that is the costoclavicular ligament. Then the subclavian groove. So this one. So the subclavian groove, it gives the insertion of the subclavius muscle. This one. And the margin of, that is the subclavian groove, it gives the attachment of the clavipectoral fascia. Then that is the posterior surface, which is close to the medial end, it gives the origin of the sternohyoid muscle and the subclavian artery and the cords of the brachial plexus. It passes behind the inferior surface of the clavicle. Then the nutrient foramen, which is present on the shaft of the clavicle, it transmits a branch of the suprascapular artery. Then the sex determination of the clavicle. So what is the difference between the male clavicle and the female clavicle? So in the females, that is the clavicle, it is shorter, lighter, thinner and smoother and less curved than the male. Then the mid shaft of the circumference and the weight of the clavicle are reliable criteria for the sex determination of the clavicle. Then the third point, in female, the lateral end of the clavicle, so this one, it is a little below than the medial end, and in males, that is the lateral end, it is either at the same level or slightly higher than the medial end. So that is the sex determination or the identification sign present in the male and the female. Then the ossification of the clavicle. So the clavicle, it is the first bone in the body which ossify except for the medial end. So this one, it is except all the part of the bone ossifies in the membrane, and it ossify from the two primary centers and one secondary center. So the two primary centers appear in the shaft between the 5th and the 6th week of the intrauterine life and fuse about the 45th day of the intrauterine life. Then the secondary center for the medial end, so this one, it appears during the 15 to 17 years and fuse with that the shaft during the age of 21 and the 22 years. After then, let's see that is the clinical point related with the clavicle. So the first point related with the clavicle clinical point, that is the fracture of the clavicle, and the commonly fracture by falling on the outstretched hand, and the most common site of the fracture, that is the junction between the two curvature of the bone, which is very much weakest, that is at the junction of medial 2/3 and the lateral 1/3 of the clavicle, this one. And here that is the weakest point and commonly fracture should be occurs. Then the second clinical point, that is the clavicle, it may be congenitally absent or imperfectly developed. So this is the X-ray, and here you can see that is the imperfectly developed that the clavicle, and this clinical condition, it is called the cleidocranial dystosis. So here, so in this condition, the shoulder droop and can be approximated anteriorly in front of the chest. So here you can see that is the clavicle, it is not fully developed, that is undeveloped or imperfectly developed, so called the cleidocranial dystosis, this one. So these are the clinical points related with the clavicle.